Welcome to New York. New York, formerly referred to as the state of New York, may be a state within the northeastern U.S. It's typically known as New York State to differentiate it from its largest town, New York Town. With a complete space of 54 square miles, New York is the 27th largest U.S. state by space. With 20.2 million folks, it's the fourth most populous state within us as of 2021, with just about a quarter mile living in New York Town, as well as 25th of the state's population among borough and Queens, and another August 15, 1945 on the rest of island. The state is boxed by New Jersey and Pennsylvania to the south, and Connecticut, Massachusetts, and American states to the east. It's a maritime border with Rhode Island, east of the island, in addition to a world border with the Canadian provinces of Quebec to the north and Ontario to the northwest. New York City is the most inhabited town in US, and around a simple fraction of the state's population lives within the New York metropolitan space, the world's largest urban landmass. New York City is home to the headquarters of the World Organization and has been represented as the cultural, financial, and media capital of the planet, in addition, because the world's most economically powerful town, and is usually represented because the capital of the planet. Subsequent 5 most inhabited cities within the state area unit Buffalo, Yonkers, Rochester, Syracuse, and therefore the city of Albany. Throughout its history, New York has maintained an associate in nursing overall progressive social stance and has been a pioneer in immigration policy, women's right to vote, and therefore the LGBTQ+ rights movement, though the New York metropolitan space has usually been a lot of politically liberal than regions northward within the state. New York incorporates numerous earth science. The southeastern part of the state, the world referred to as downstate, includes islands and several other smaller associated islands, in addition to New York Town and therefore the lower Hudson Depression. A lot of larger upstate New York space spreads from the Nice Lakes to Champlain, whereas its southern tier region extends to the border of Pennsylvania. Upstate includes various topography and varied regions as well as the mountain chain within the northeastern lobe of the state. New York additionally includes many ranges of the broader Appalachians. The east-west Mohawk River Depression is the primary river depression bisecting a lot of mountainous regions and connecting to the north-south Hudson Depression within the capital region of New York. Western New York is a component of the Nice Lakes region and borders the Great Lakes of Ontario and Lake Erie, in addition to Niagara Falls. Between the central and western elements of the state, New York is dominated by the Finger Lakes, a well-liked vacation and traveler destination. New York was one of the first 13 colonies forming us. The world of contemporary New York had been thickly settled by tribes of the Algonquians and therefore the Iroquois Confederacy Native Americans for many thousand years by the time the earliest Europeans arrived. French colonists and Jesuit missionaries arrived southward from the city for trade and proselytizing. In 1609, the region was visited by Hudson sailing for the Dutch Archipelago Company. The Dutch engineered Fort Nassau in 1614 at the confluence of the Hudson and Mohawk rivers, wherever the contemporary capital of Albany later developed. The Dutch shortly additionally settled settlement and elements of the Hudson Depression, establishing the social colony of the latest Netherland, a middle of trade and immigration. European nations confiscated the colony from the Dutch in 1664, with the Dutch recapturing their colony in 1673 before definitively relinquishing it to land as a section of the Pact of Westminster the subsequent year. Throughout the Yankee Revolutionary War, a gaggle of colonists of the province of the latest dynasty tried to require management of the British People colony and eventually succeeded in establishing independence. Within the early 19th century, New York's development of its interior, starting with the Erie Canal, gave it unmatchable blessings over different regions of the geographic area and engineered its political and cultural dominance. Many landmarks in the New York area unit documented, as well as 4 of the world's 10 most visited traveler attractions in 2013. Times Square, Park, Niagara Falls, and Grand Central Terminal. New York is additionally home to the Sculpture of Liberty, a United Nations Agency World Heritage Site. Within the 21st century, New York has emerged as a world node of creative thinking and entrepreneurship, social tolerance, and environmental property. New York has just about 200 faculties and universities, as well as the expansive State University of the latest dynasty system, the biggest within the nation. Many universities in New York have been hierarchical among the highest 100 within the nation and world. In general, New York has a wet continental climate, although, below the Köppen climate classification, New York Town incorporates a wet climatic zone climate. Weather in New York is heavily influenced by two continental air masses, a heat, wet one from the southwest, and a chilly, dry one from the northwest. Downstate New York, comprising New York Town, Island, and lower parts of the Hudson Depression has rather hot summers with some periods of high wetness and cold, damp winters that area unit comparatively mild compared to temperatures in upstate New York because of the downstate region's lower elevation, proximity to the Atlantic Ocean, and comparatively lower latitude. Upstate New York experiences heat summers, marred by solely occasional, temporary intervals of sultry conditions, with long and cold winters. Western New